Hello Aries, and welcome to my channel, Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements looking at your connection between you and the person that you are dealing with and are needing to learn the most from right now. We'll be pulling for all three sides of it, so we've got your energy toward it, we'll pull for their energy toward it, and then the energy in between the connection. The concept being that there are three sides to every story, so we'll be looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level unbiased truth in the middle. This middle section we'll be looking at what is the deeper purpose of the connection and the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. Friendly reminder that these are general readings and they are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and leave what does not. On that note, especially if you're a cross-watcher, this whole reading can be reversed. If that is the case for you, that's totally fine and totally normal. Again, the point is to take what helps and leave what doesn't. Last thing is that any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading with me is in the description box below. All right. We're going to start with pulling for the overall energy of the connection, and then we'll dive into tarot a little bit later in the reading to dive a little bit deeper into the story. But let's see what we're dealing with. This is Aries side of the connection toward the person here, connected to and needing to learn the most from right now. Card like peeked out, but didn't want to come out. Okay, Aries side of this connection. Drama with know your worth on the bottom of the deck. Interesting. Dead end. Redacted. Oh my goodness, what is going on here? Okay. I feel like this connection added a lot of drama to your life. Now, this mask is also very intriguing in a sense, because I feel like it feels like no matter how hard, because there's almost this energy of fighting this connection, or maybe like trying to push it away in some sense, but it feels like it keeps finding its way back into your mind or back into your energy. Now, this dead end card makes me feel like there's this energy of things kind of coming to a stop. It's like you were going down this road and things were, felt fine. And then all of a sudden it was just like brake squealing, car coming to a complete halt. And I feel like there's a lot of almost confusion associated with like what happened here. I know that I'm kind of confused by the energy because this dead end card feels like it kind of came out of nowhere. And I feel like ever since it happened, it's like, yeah, there's almost this energy of trying to maybe push it away or pretend like it doesn't bother you or like you don't care anymore. But I feel like you do. Like, I feel like it does still affect you. And that's not a bad thing necessarily. Typically, what I feel like that means is there's something that needs to be learned or healed or addressed. But I don't know. I don't know what's going on here. Let's see what this person's energy is toward you, Aries. Manipulation. Well, yeah, that's going to affect things. Quality time. So, I don't think that this manipulation was obvious at first. Feels like the more time that you spent with this person, or the longer that this connection went on, the more that maybe this started to become apparent. Because I obviously don't like this. There's something about this person's energy. And I feel like that's why in the beginning, like, things were fine, smooth sailing, and then I don't know what happened here. But I feel like Spirit's giving you a bit of a warning regarding this person's energy. And as soon as I said that, I heard it's too late. Like, almost like I found out already kind of thing. So I don't know. Like I said, I don't really know, because I mean, this is a lot of really kind of heavier energy too. Truth of the connection between Aries and this person. Mirroring ego. What the hell is going on here, Aries? Okay, I feel like ego is definitely at play in this connection. And what I mean by that is, and especially with the mirroring card, is I feel like this connection did a lot of triggering. And I feel like it triggered deeper insecurities on both sides here. And I feel like that brought up a lot of extra, like, almost feelings and like sense of confusion. And I feel like I'm speaking to a collective that tried to just kind of like, or is trying to really put this behind them, but is really struggling to do so in a sense. And I'm not saying that in the sense that, like, all of you are like, oh, I want to be back with this person, or I want this to work, or, like, some of you, sure, maybe. But I feel like for some of you, it's just like, I just want to be done. Like, I just want this to be over. I don't want to hurt anymore. And I feel like there's a reason as to why it's been hard for you to really put this in the past. And this, to me, is telling a whole story. And I feel like that this is one of those connections where both people were instinctively drawn toward the other, and it just immediately, like, it kind of became chaos in a way. So I don't know what the heck is going on here. I don't know what happened. And like I said, it happened over time. I can see that with this quality time card. It feels like how things ended up being in the end were not how they started off. Let's get overall theme of the reading, and then we're going to dive into tarot. You have drama, dead end, ego, mirroring, and manipulation. Like, those are all pretty tough energies to deal with. So something really went down here. Overall theme of this reading for Aries. But that's not what it felt like. That's not what it felt like at all. Hang on. I'll tell you what the card is in just a second. Let me get clear on what the message is being presented with it. Soulmate. So that's what's so interesting. You have the soulmate card with unrequited love. And I pulled the unrequited love card, which typically means, like, feelings aren't mutual. I don't think that that's true. I feel like, and then you have the soulmate card. So there was definitely a soul connection here. Now, when we, remember, we have many soulmates in this life. So just because you pull a soulmate card for one person, it's not like, oh, this is your person and it must be them. Because if it's not them, it's never going to be as good as it could be with them. That's not what I'm saying. I feel like this definitely was a soul connection. And it's interesting because it feels like there is almost this front being put on as if the love isn't reciprocated, or as if the feelings aren't reciprocated, but they are. And I feel like that's really confusing for me, and probably for anybody dealing with this energy. Because I pulled that card and I was like, this doesn't mean what I think it means. Because at first it was like, okay. But then I started looking at all of the other energies, and it's like, even if there was manipulation involved, that doesn't necessarily mean that there weren't feelings, right? Like, feelings can be present. I don't know, Aries. This is a mess. I don't know what you guys are dealing with here, but my goodness. Okay, let's start to break it down a little bit more, because I'm feeling very confused by this energy. So let's dive into tarot. Let's start, Aries, with your side of this. You have drama with dead end. Aries side of this connection. You are so over this. With the Four of Swords in reverse. You're so over feeling this way. This connection, I feel like, has really done a number on you in some sense. What else is this talking about? The Tower. The Five of Wands in reverse. No, the Five of Wands is upright, right? Yeah. And just so you guys know, just because a card comes out a certain way doesn't mean how it is supposed to go. It's a very intuitive feeling. You have this Page of Swords. What the heck is this Page of Swords? Oh, okay. Queen of Swords. You could be dealing with an air sign, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, but there's more to this Queen of Swords than that. Okay, let's start to break this down. So it's obvious that I feel like you're very over feeling the way that you do in this connection. I don't know what happened here. Honestly, I kind of am getting the vibe that it's really none of my business. I don't feel like, I'm obviously really curious, and sometimes I can get a little nosy, and I feel like my spirit guides will be like, you don't need to know that. That's not for you. And I feel like that's one of those times where it's like, you don't really need to know what happened. You just need to talk about everything around it. And I feel like with this is the Tower, right? The Tower, this is whatever happened here. And it's interesting to me because I feel like this came out of nowhere. And it almost feels like you were, I don't know if blindsided is the right word, or if it was like maybe you saw it coming but never actually expected it. I don't know. But this Tower, I feel like in the fallout of this Tower has been incredibly challenging for you in terms of just like trying to make sense of everything and trying to figure out what to do moving forward. I don't know if there was betrayal here. I don't know. Like I said, I don't feel like I'm really supposed to know. But with this Queen of Swords and the Page of Swords, I feel like this connection really, because I do feel like you opened up a lot. And I feel like this connection really did a number on you because I feel like you opened up maybe in a way that you never really have before. Or like you opened up and trusted, and maybe there's a lot of regret around that. Now, this Queen of Swords to me is open mind and open heart, and, but there's also something about communication. And this goes back to that redacted card we saw on the bottom of the deck when we pulled for your overall energy, is I feel like it was almost as if there was this energy of not being totally upfront on your side of things about how you were feeling. And I feel like you buried maybe a lot of your feelings for a while to try to make this connection work. Because the Four of Swords in reverse, it can be this energy of being like over it, being burnt out, right? But it's also, it's a long time coming to get to that point. And I feel like it's almost as if you started holding back your feelings or your needs or your perspective because, well, I don't know why. In fact, I want to know why. What is this Queen of Swords and Page of Swords referring to? Because it's all about speaking your truth and honesty, and I feel like maybe it could also be you did that and that's what led to the Tower. It's like yeah, I think that that's what it was. Am I on the right track here? Yeah, because there's the Ace of Swords. Again, I feel like it's like, yes, speaking truth. Because Ace of Swords is also about like authentic, like authenticity. And I feel like maybe you held back a lot for a while and you were kind of just like, no, I'm fine. Everything's fine. And then finally, maybe you were like, actually, I don't think I am fine. I think that there's actually some things that are bothering me and I need more. And then like everything seemed to blow up. So something that's really important, and this might not be for everyone, but for some of you to know that anything that is lost because you speak your truth or you speak up about what you need or how you feel is never a loss. Okay. It's always alignment for what's truly meant for you. But I feel like there's more to this connection and the purpose of this connection than you might think. And one of the reasons I feel like you're having a hard time really putting it behind you is because there are like some deeper like lessons almost here. I don't know what those are yet. Because this drama, and I said I was drawn to the mask, it felt like maybe you were wearing a mask for a while. Pretending to be okay with things or being honest or not being honest, like I said, about how you felt. And then you took that mask off and then it was just like chaos. But it's almost like you were triggered to the point of doing that, where you were like, I finally had enough, like I can't do this anymore. Something's got to give. And then the Tower happened. It's like you hit, and maybe that's what this dead end is like you hit your limit with this. Is you were like, I can't do this anymore. Like I can't keep going on like this. This person's energy toward Aries, quality time with manipulation. This person's energy toward Aries, please. There's just so much to unpack here. I feel like there's a lot of different levels to what's going on, and it's probably not as simple as like I'm making it sound. So please know that I'm very aware that not everything is always black and white, right? And these are just energies. It doesn't always, it's always a little bit more complicated in reality, but right, this person's energy toward Aries. No? Yes? No. This person's energy toward Aries, please. So there it is. But there's the freaking Nine of Pentacles. Nine of Pentacles with the Queen of Pentacles. So to me, it feels like you checked a lot of their boxes in terms of what they were looking for. But in like a material sense. It's almost like they loved you or cared about you or desired you for what was on the surface. And maybe that's why you held back how you were really feeling. And let me make this very clear. It's not that this person didn't like you for who you really were, okay? People can only meet us to the depth at which they've met themselves, right? So if we desire more in our relationships and we're asking somebody to meet us at a deeper level, we are asking that person to meet themselves at a deeper level. And that's something that a lot of people don't want to do. In fact, most people don't want to do because it's hard and it's scary and it's emotional and it's uncomfortable, and most people would rather avoid that. But so seeing this manipulation card within the King of Swords and reverse card, which is another card for me of manipulation, it's almost as if this person in some way wanted you to be someone you're not. Now, I don't mean that in the sense that they wished you were better. It's almost like, and how do I say this? I feel like they wished you didn't challenge them so much. I feel like they wished that you would just kind of go with the flow and be okay with whatever. And maybe you were in the beginning. You were like, yeah, it's fine, it's chill, whatever. But then eventually you were like, actually it's not. And that like created a lot of discourse in the connection, because then this person is like, well, you were so fine with it or everything. It's almost like then maybe they make you feel bad or feel like you're asking for too much when all you're asking for is, love and respect and to be treated well. Like, I don't feel like you were asking for anything that is way over the top here, but it's almost like they wanted you to be, they didn't want to have to try any harder or meet themselves any deeper. And I feel like that was the biggest problem here. It's not that the love was unrequited, because I do feel like there was desire here. But I feel like this person is somebody, because seeing the Pentacles, both the Queen of Pentacles and the Nine of Pentacles here, it feels like this person keeps things very surface level in their life and maybe in their relationships too. So you met that criteria of what they were looking for in like a relationship, but they wanted to keep things surface level. They wanted things to be just easy peasy breezy, no emotional stuff, no uncomfortable intimacy, none of that, which isn't a real relationship. That's not a true connection. That is inauthentic, right? And when we're in those connections and we are desiring more, but we're dealing with people who aren't capable of going deeper, they're going to make us feel bad for desiring more because they feel insecure about their ability to go deeper. And I feel like that's what happened here. It's almost like maybe you were made to believe that, you were asking for too much, or that it was your fault that they acted a certain way. And I don't feel like it was at all. In fact, and I'm not saying it was all them and not you at all. Like, I'm not saying you were entirely perfect and it was all them, because that's not realistic either, right? We all play a role. But in terms of like this reading in this situation, I feel like you kind of took off that mask and you were like, this is what I need. And this person was like, no way. And that probably made you feel pretty crappy, because then you're like, oh, you don't love me or you don't care about me. But it's not that. It's that this person isn't capable of meeting you where you want to be met because they haven't met themselves at that depth. And that is not your problem. It's not your burden. And I feel like that's why things felt good in the beginning, or like we're fine in the beginning, is because all relationships essentially start off surface level, right? All relationships, you meet people here, and then as the relationship grows, hopefully or naturally, things should grow deeper. The connection should grow deeper, the trust and getting to know each other and the vulnerability and all of that should start to grow deeper. But when you're dealing with people who haven't gone deeper in their own world, they're going to try whatever they can. They're going to do whatever they can to try to keep things at the surface. That's where they're comfortable. But most people who are desiring and truly, want that deeper connection, they're going to want more. Deeper commitment, more vulnerability, just more out of the connection. And that's not a bad thing. So it's not that you were asking for too much. It's not that you were being, ridiculous in what it is that you were asking. I feel like you might have been asking someone that just wasn't capable of it in a way. Because they hadn't met themselves at that depth. So yeah, there is a lot to unpack here. And I feel like one of the hardest things is, we have to take people where they're at. We have to learn when somebody shows us what they're capable and someone shows us their depth and the capacity of their depth, we've got to look at that. We've got to say, first and foremost, is this enough for me? If the answer is no, then our next action shouldn't be, okay, how can I make them change? Because when we do that, we're setting ourselves up for failure. It's the number one way we set ourselves up for heartbreak, is by trying to change another person. Instead, we have to say, okay, then what's in my control? Well, creating distance, creating space, creating boundaries, whatever the case might be, so that you don't end up in this Four of Swords energy where you're just totally over it because you've put up with a bunch of BS until you snapped, essentially. Not saying you did snap, but like until you get to this point where you're like, can't freaking do this anymore, because it's not fair of you. You shouldn't be asked to bear somebody's inability to meet themselves deeper. And I think that this is one of the best lessons I've learned in my relationships. I used to have a lot of relationships. I had a lot of friends. I had been in a lot of romantic relationships, and I was just surrounded by relationships, but they were all unfulfilling. They were all surface level, or they required me to be somebody that I wasn't, or I had to hide parts of myself in order to make these relationships work. And after I kind of went through my spiritual awakening and my spiritual journey, I learned that I was actually incredibly uninterested in every single one of those connections. Not in the people, but in those types of connections. And what I did desire was soul connection. And I lost a lot of connections in the process when I started kind of raising my standards and setting stronger boundaries. But every single loss, though it was difficult and challenging at the time, it led me to deeper, more fulfilling connections with both people romantically, like with my husband, and the friendships that I have and the relationships that are in my life are just like so much better. And a lot of that is because I finally got to this point where I was like, I'm not interested in pouring myself into people that cannot meet me there. Like, I want people in my life that can match me, match my openness and my, whatever. I wanted someone who could match my energy. I wanted people who could match my energy, and I have that now. And I think that it's hard when we have to kind of, and it doesn't mean like screw everybody else, but I do feel like creating distance between you and the people that aren't capable of meeting you where you're at is really important, because if we don't, we're going to end up drained, because you're going to be doing everything you can, either putting up with where things are at, desiring more, or trying to make things better. And that eventually is going to run you dry. You're going to be pouring from an empty cup. So yeah, there's definitely a lot going on here, and I definitely feel why this has been hard for you, because I also feel like there's this part of you that really just wants, this to be over, but I feel like there's a lesson here that is really important for you to learn so that you don't repeat this in your connections moving forward. But we're going to hop on over to the extended. You've got ego with mirroring. We are going to dive deeper into the reading, looking at the deeper purpose and the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. Thank you so much, Aries, as always, for your support of my channel. I do obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, I wish you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things that you deserve and desire on your journey moving forward. Bye, Aries.